formation. They had a working relationship with the WWF throughout the 80s, which is why there were matches involving some of the biggest names at the time, like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Yeah,
Has anyone ever seen a Hulk Hogan Japanese match?
yeah, brother.
He actually works his ass off in that.
Yeah. He has to do the big boot, the leg drop, and the 1, 2, the big boot, the leg drop, the 1, 2, 3, Jack.
Tell me what his finisher in Japan is. Axe Bomber, yep. That's a lariat using the forearm instead of the arm.
Axe Bomber.
In the late 80s, the working relationship shifted to WCW, and it kind of stayed that way almost until WCW disintegrated.
Yep.
So that's why you see...
Because the tequila bottle.
Guys, I understand you're excited, but please try to avoid yelling things out while I'm talking, otherwise it's going to take forever. WCW talent appeared in, New Japan talent appeared in WCW infrequently. You got the Great Muta, Masahiro Chono, Kensuke Sasaki. Sasaki was a United States champion for a little while. The only thing that sucks about it is apparently the WCW higher-ups would often tell the Japanese wrestlers explicitly not to try, not have a good match, not to overshadow the American talent. There's a really famous example of this. It was a Chono Muta match, I believe, where it was during the Bill Watts era, and Bill Watts specifically told them to have a crappy match, and it had probably the worst match you'll ever see either guy have on a WCW pay-per-view. The working relationship also led to some gimmick, concept shows. They had the Collision in Korea, which was the North Korean shows, where basically the North Korean government forced their people to show up. So those are still the largest crowds ever for pro wrestling because they were literally mandated to go. They hit 120,000 for one of the two shows. Though unfortunately, those are aired on pay-per-view. That and a show called Starcade in Japan, which is an amazing show. That's the show that has the Steiner brothers against Hiroshi Hase and Kensuke Sasaki. That was just an amazing match. But those shows are not on the WWE Network for some reason. The Starcade 95 show is, which is the WCW versus New Japan show in America, and that show is kind of amazing to watch now. There's Eddie Guerrero and Shinjiri Otani, there's a lot of guys. So that show is awesome. That is on WWE Network, but we have to get the rest of it on there.
That reminds me of a poll that we didn't do.
What?
Who here actually owns the WWE Network or pays for it monthly?
This is why it's not doing well. We're in a room full of wrestling fans, and less than half have it. I mean, I got it for WrestleMania, and I happened to lose my debit card, so I had to get a new one, and I never bothered giving them my information again. So apparently, I'm off the hook for that 6 months commitment. I'm sure they're going to send me a collection notice or something eventually. So New Japan went through a down period in the mid-2000s, but it was really bad for a little while there, and that was in the middle of the mixed martial arts craze in Japan, which, by the way, if you don't know, mixed martial arts was more popular in Japan than it was in America for a long time with the Pride promotion, and K1 too. But it kind of just hit a huge crash over a Yakuza scandal involving the funding of Pride, and that helped pro wrestling regain quite a bit of its lost popularity because now MMA is basically not even around any. They have shows, but they don't really have television deals. They don't really have it's nothing like it was. But yeah, the big problem with the mid-2000s period was that Antonio Inoki, who founded New Japan, had a fetish for mixed martial arts fighters that couldn't work pro wrestling, and putting them over wrestlers, and it was just really terrible. But it kind of came back with a vengeance around 2009. To the point where I would think a lot of hardcore fans consider them the best promotion in the world right now, or at least for the last few years. And if anyone's heard of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's they run a year-end award thing that's considered pretty prestigious, and New Japan has won the Promotion of the Year in 2012 and 2013.